Margaret, that one's mine. From now on, buy your own food. I froze in the doorway. My kitchen. My house. And there it was, a brand new refrigerator, silver and gleaming, right beside my old one. Every item I had bought in the last week had a sticky note on it with Olivia's neat, black letters. Cheese. Yogurt. Chicken. Even the butter. What is this? My voice was barely audible after 26 straight hours at the hospital. I said, buy your own, Olivia replied, arms crossed, leaning like she owned the place. Her words were sharp, casual, dismissive, as though I were a stranger in the home I had fought for my whole adult life. I tried to call Daniel. He was there, standing in his bedroom doorway, his face unreadable. Mom, don't make a scene. Olivia's right. This way it's organized. Organized. My blood ran cold. My house, the one I bought with decades of savings, sweat, and late-night shifts, was now divided into little labeled territories by the person who had never contributed a dime. I went to my room and closed the door. My body ached. My back ached. My hands smelled of disinfectant. I was 67, a nurse, and I had just realized that some battles in life were not won with kindness. 3 days later, I came back after another grueling shift, only 12 hours this time, and found more labels. On the shampoo, the soap, the toothpaste, even the toilet paper. My toothbrush alone remained untouched. Olivia's tiny declaration of ownership had crept into every corner of my house. This is too much, I whispered when she appeared behind me, startling me. Too much? She asked, tilting her head, her smile cold. I'm just keeping track of what's mine. Those are mine. I said, sharper than I intended. I bought those pots, those plates, years ago. Well, then label them, she said, and walked away. I sat in my room that night, the smell of her cooking, my recipes, stolen, my favorites, filling the air. Pot roast. Lasagna. I didn't touch a bite. My stomach growled, but I refused. Every bite would feel like surrender. The next morning, I tried talking to Daniel alone. Coffee in hand, he seemed tired, distracted. Mom, it's not just about the labels, he said. We're a young couple. We need our space. You don't get it. You don't get it, I said, voice shaking with a mix of anger and heartbreak. You live here for free. You don't pay rent, utilities, anything. And now I can't even use my own kitchen without being policed. Daniel rubbed his face. Mom, I have to support Olivia. You're being old-fashioned. I stood up and left, silent. I knew something had to change. I pulled a box from the closet, long unopened. Inside were memories, photos of Daniel as a boy, hospital bills I had paid alone, reminders of sleepless nights, endless shifts, and sacrifices that had kept him alive and well. And for what? For this. 2 days later, cleaning out his old room to occupy my restless hands, I found a jar in Daniel's nightstand. Receipts. Photos of Olivia traveling, eating at fancy restaurants, while I had been loaning them money for gas, groceries, emergencies. And beneath it, a manila envelope with my name. Inside were the deeds to the house and a notarized promissory note, $45,000 loaned to Daniel 2 years ago for a business venture. My money. My trust. Betrayed. I sat on the floor, heart pounding, staring at the papers. I had given everything to raise my son, protect him, provide him, and now I had the clarity to see the rot. The house, the money, the life I built, it was time to reclaim them. I had saved that money for 10 years. Every penny. My retirement. My safety net for when my body could no longer carry me through 12-hour hospital shifts. But he was my son, my only son. I'll pay you back in 6 months, Mom. With interest. You'll see, Marcus had said, insisting we sign a notarized note. He made it look so serious. I believed him. The business never worked. His partner vanished with the cash. And I never asked him again. I was his mother. A mother gives with love. Or does she? I kept sifting through the envelope. There were bank statements, accounts I had never seen, deposits of $1,500 to $2,000 monthly. Where was that money coming from if he supposedly wasn't working? And then, a folded sheet of paper, text messages between Marcus and Olivia. Olivia, I talked to the agent. The house is worth about $320,000 here. Marcus, that's a lot. Olivia, exactly. Your mom is getting older. Who will inherit it? Marcus, me. You? Olivia, why wait? Convince her to sell. Offer a smaller place. Keep her happy for a while, then the house is ours. I dropped the papers. My son. My son had plotted it. Every label, every humiliation, every step. I photographed everything, messages, promissory notes, bank statements, deeds. I replaced them exactly where I found them. My hands shook as I poured a glass of water in the kitchen, staring at the 2 refrigerators, the yellow labels, the house I had built with decades of sweat. And in that moment, I didn't break down. I broke forward. Forgive, yes, but being a fool. No longer. I called a lawyer that night, David Hayes, highly rated, downtown. I need an urgent appointment. I want to evict occupants from my property. Occupants? The secretary asked. Yes. My son and his wife, I said, calm, measured. The next day, I sat in David Hayes' office. Books lined the walls, legal tomes stacked high. Tell me everything, he said kindly. I told him, labels, messages, unpaid loans, the house. He nodded, taking notes. Do you have proof? Every bit, I said. Pictures, promissory notes, deeds. He paused. They're your son. Are you sure? Yes, I said, unflinching. Absolutely. Within the hour, papers were signed. A power of attorney. Retainer paid. $1,500 I had saved, now a weapon for justice. That night, I returned home with groceries I could call mine. They were inside, Olivia and Marcus's parents, Philip and Karen, lounging in my living room like they owned it. Margaret, Olivia said sweetly, come sit. I'll pass, I said. My voice calm. Smiling, even. Dinner? I'll make it. They exchanged confused glances. I cooked, set the table, even washed the dishes. Are you okay, Mom? Marcus asked. Very well, I said, looking Olivia in the eye. After all, what's best for the family? The next morning, Philip and Karen tried their charm, offering retirement communities, gifts of convenience. I listened. I burned with quiet fury. Retirement community? I asked, voice steady. And who pays for this? Your pension, Mom, Olivia said, syrupy. A little help from selling the car, maybe. You'd be comfortable. I was 67. Still working. Still alive. Still in control. Comfortable. At the cost of my house. My life? I asked. Marcus avoided my gaze. Mom, we just want what's best for you. I stood. And what do you gain if I leave? The room went silent. Laughter, soft and mocking, echoed behind me as I walked upstairs. For the first time in weeks, I locked the door and let tears fall. And when they were done, I washed my face. I saw something new in my reflection: decision. I found David Hayes' number again. Tomorrow, the process begins. And they didn't even know the war had already started. I sent the text. Mr. Hayes, proceed with everything. I want them out of my house as soon as possible. The reply came in seconds. Understood, Mrs. Carter. We'll file the suit tomorrow. I set my phone aside and lay down. Before sleep could take me, I whispered into the darkness, I'm sorry, Marcus, but I can't save you from yourself anymore. 3 days later, everything changed. For the first few days, I acted normal. Too normal. I greeted Olivia with a cheerful, good morning. I made my own breakfast, ignored the yellow labels. I left for work and returned, disappearing into my room as if nothing had happened. Olivia's brow furrowed more than once. Marcus avoided me entirely. Perfect. Let them think I'd surrendered. Let them believe I was the meek, old woman, ready to vanish quietly into some retirement home. But at night, I was awake. Observing. Listening. Taking notes. Mapping their patterns. Olivia emerged from my master bath at noon, hair done, coffee in hand, shopping bags spilling over with brands I could never afford. Marcus left early, looking for work, but came back smelling of cigarettes and cheap beer, eyes bloodshot. One Tuesday night, while they were distracted in the living room, I entered their bedroom. I knew exactly where to look. Under the bed, in shoe boxes. In the third box, I found it: bank statements, deposits of $1,800 every 2 weeks, dated to last month. Receipts from bars, upscale restaurants, even a Marriott hotel. And a sealed envelope. Inside, a brochure from a new condo development downtown, one apartment marked in red. 3 bedrooms. $320,000. On the last page, in Olivia's handwriting, sale of Margaret's house, $300,000. $100,000 for her, $200,000 for us. Perfect. The betrayal written in red ink. I photographed everything: statements, receipts, brochure. Replaced them exactly. Later, I emailed Caroline, my sister in Chicago. She had known Marcus since he was a boy. Caroline, I need a favor. Is there anyone who can trace some bank deposits? Something seems wrong. Minutes later, her reply: my friend is an accountant with the IRS. Send details. I sent pictures of the deposits. The next morning, she called. Margaret, your son is in serious trouble. Those deposits are coming from a shell company. Fraudulent invoicing. Tax evasion. He'll face huge fines, maybe jail. Jail. The word hit like a hammer. I stayed silent. I hung up and walked through the house, each step measured, controlled. That night, I intended to confront Marcus alone, but the kitchen betrayed me. Voices. Raised, desperate. Don't talk to me like that. Olivia snapped. It's not my fault your mother is so nosy, Marcus said. I froze, listening. Plans, pressure, lies, all intertwined. I backed quietly, retreated upstairs. My heart pounded. I had all the pieces now: illegal money, house sale scheming, the push to force me out. I spent the night compiling everything. Timeline, photos, evidence, every humiliation, every yellow label. By dawn, it was printed, organized, ready. Breakfast the next morning. Marcus looked exhausted, disheveled. I greeted him calmly, good morning. He blinked. Good morning, Mom. I made my toast and coffee, fruit on the side. Calm. Smiling faintly. Are you okay? He asked. Very well, son, I replied, steady. Why? You seem different. I slept well, I said. A lie. I had been awake all night, plotting. Before leaving for the hospital, I called David Hayes. Mr. Hayes, it's Margaret. I have more information. Marcus may be involved in something illegal. I have proof. Can you come to the office today? I drove through Charlotte, sunlight on my face, feeling something I hadn't in months, power. No longer the gullible, sacrificial mother. I was a lioness protecting her territory. Thursday, I returned from a brutal 14-hour shift. Code blues, death, grief in my hands. I dragged myself into my kitchen, craving nothing but a hot bath. And then the smell hit me. Food. Roasted chicken. Potatoes. My stomach growled. I froze. The fridge, open, empty. My groceries, all of them, in a black trash bag. What? I whispered. Oh, you're home, Olivia said, stepping in, hands wiped with a napkin, expensive new blouse, tag still on. I had to throw out your food. You did what? It had gone bad. Smelled rotten. Contaminating the fridge. I stared at the garbage bag. My groceries. 2 days' worth. $20. Thrown away. Where's Marcus? In the living room. I walked in. Marcus sprawled on the couch, phone in hand, beer bottles scattered. Marcus, I said, hollow. Your wife threw out my food. Oh, she told me. It had gone bad. Mom, just let it go. Let it go. 40 years buying groceries, Marcus. I know when food is rotten. And this wasn't. He sighed, drunk, defensive. I'm tired of your drama. Drama? My drama. I snapped. My drama. You and Olivia throw out my groceries while you drink my beer. Who pays for this beer? You? Olivia? With whose money? He stood, staggering. It's enough. I'm tired. I'm done. Always about you. The house, the food, the money. You're the great martyr, the saintly mother who sacrificed everything. The words hit like a punch. Marcus, the boy who once hugged me at night, the teen who brought flowers on Mother's Day, was gone. Only a stranger remained. All right, I said, voice low, barely audible. I turned, walked upstairs, locked my door, and sat on the bed, heart hammering, breath shallow. I called Caroline. Through tears, I told her everything, labels, lies, threats, the loan, the illegal deposits, Marcus's drunken rage. Caroline didn't interrupt. She waited. Then, firm, Margaret, you have to get him out. He's a freeloader. Olivia is dangerous. Love doesn't mean letting them destroy you. Sometimes protecting them means letting them fall. And you? You're done being blind. I exhaled, a single, sharp breath. I was done being blind. I cried harder than I had in years. I can't do this to him. Then Caroline's voice rang in my ear, calm but firm. Then prepare to lose everything, because that's exactly what's going to happen. She hung up. I sat in the darkness, phone heavy in my hand, and a terrifying thought struck me. What if I leave? What if I just go, rent a small apartment, work quietly until retirement, die peacefully without breaking my family apart? And then I remembered. I remembered the day I bought this house. Marcus was 12. We had spent 2 years in a rented apartment, in a neighborhood where the sirens never stopped. For 5 years, I had saved every single dollar. When I signed the papers, I came home crying tears of relief and joy. Marcus, we have a home. A real home. No one can take it from us. He hugged me, skin smelling like soap and hope. No one, Mom. Not even if we don't pay rent. It's ours. Yours and mine. Yours and mine. Not Olivia's. Not her parents'. Not anyone else's. Mine. I got up, wiped my tears, and opened the drawer where I had stored all my evidence, the documents, the photos, the records. And the original deeds, the ones I had quietly retrieved from Marcus's room months ago. I traced my fingers over the letters, Margaret Carter, owner. 40 years of work. 40 years of struggle. 40 years of sacrifice. All of it documented in this paper. No one was taking this from me. I grabbed my phone. Texted David Hayes, Mr. Hayes, I need to see you tomorrow. Urgent. We're moving forward. The reply came swiftly. Understood. We will prepare everything. Your son and daughter-in-law will be served next week. I set the phone down and lay back. No tears this time. Only a hard, cold determination. Marcus thought I was weak. He forgot that women who raise children alone, who endure pain and keep going, don't break. We transform. By Saturday morning, Olivia would learn the cost of underestimating me. At 8 a.m., I met David Hayes. This time, I was steady. No trembling, no tears. Just a calm, unshakable resolve. Mrs. Carter, I've prepared everything, he said, sliding a stack of documents across the table. Here's the eviction notice, the lawsuit for the unpaid loan, $62,000 plus interest, and here. He paused, sliding another paper forward. The lawsuit for moral damages and improper use of property. Estimated $15,000. Moral damages? I asked. Yes. Psychological abuse, systematic humiliation in your own home. If we take this to trial, we could win more. But it will be long, painful, and public. I don't have a year, I said firmly. Then we have another option, David said, leaning back. We confront them with the evidence. Make it clear either they leave peacefully, or we proceed legally. The deposits you discovered, if Marcus thinks he could face jail time, he will comply. Fear is a powerful motivator. I closed my eyes. Deep breath. Let's do it. And I want to be there when they see it. Are you sure? Completely. I signed every document. David placed them in a manila envelope. When do you want them served? Tomorrow morning. 10 a.m., when they're home and confident. I got home early Friday night. Olivia sat painting her nails. Marcus lay asleep on the couch, beer bottles around him. Hi, I said. Hi, Olivia muttered, eyes wary. I went upstairs, not to hide but to plan. I packed a small suitcase with the essentials, clothes, hospital uniforms, documents, and photos. I even opened my mother's jewelry box, gold ring, wedding earrings, thin chain, a faded photo of Robert smiling with baby Marcus in his arms. Forgive me, my love, I whispered. Taking care of our son now may mean letting him learn the hard way. I slept deeply that night for the first time in weeks. The decision was made. Saturday, 7 a.m. I dressed in black pants, white blouse, closed-toe shoes, hair neatly done, light lipstick. The mirror reflected not a tired nurse, not a humiliated mother, but Margaret Carter, owner, survivor, protector. Breakfast went quietly. Marcus glanced at me sideways, Olivia suspicious. Good morning, I said. Nothing to celebrate. 9:30, my phone rang. Mrs. Carter, we're arriving. I opened the door. David Hayes and a younger man, the process server, stood there. Marcus emerged from the kitchen, confused. Who are they? I'm expecting a delivery, I said. David spoke clearly. We are here to serve notice to Marcus Carter and Olivia Carter regarding legal actions filed by Mrs. Margaret Carter. The silence was deafening. Ethan. A lawsuit? Olivia demanded. Ethan. I repeated internally, shaking my head. Marcus turned pale as the process server read the notice. Immediate eviction, loan lawsuit, moral damages. Mom. Marcus started. This is the end, I said, calm and firm. Olivia snatched the papers. You can't do this. We're family. Family. The word tasted bitter. Family that threw $20 worth of my groceries in the trash. Family that planned to sell my home out from under me. Family that abused my trust. Family ends where respect begins. Marcus tried to approach me. We can talk. Don't do this. There is nothing left to talk about. You had months, 1,000 chances, and you chose contempt and greed. The lawyer's voice rang out, you have 72 hours to vacate. Otherwise, we proceed with judicial eviction. The loan lawsuit requires a response within 30 days, or assets will be seized. We have nowhere to go. Olivia screamed. That is not my client's problem, David said. You have options. But you no longer have the right to be here. You're a monster, Olivia spat at me. I looked her in the eye. No. I'm a woman who will not be walked over in her own house. I turned, ascended the stairs, locked the door, and sat on the bed. For the first time in months, I breathed fully. I was no longer their victim. I was their judge. 3 hours later, footsteps, doors slamming, desperate voices, but the house was empty. A note on the fridge, written in Marcus's handwriting, Mom, we went to Olivia's parents. Please reconsider. We're family. I crumpled it and threw it away. Family. How convenient that word becomes when it suits someone. The rest of Saturday was mine. I tore every yellow label from the kitchen, every one a reclamation of dignity. I emptied Olivia's fridge, threw out her groceries. Dark satisfaction settled over me. Now you know how it feels. Sunday dawned gray. At 10 a.m., they returned, Marcus, Olivia, Philip and Karen Monroe. Anger and panic on every face. Philip demanded, Who do you think you are, suing my daughter? I am the owner of this house, I said, steady. And your daughter is an abuser. Gasps, shouts, attempts to argue, they could not pierce my calm. I repeated my truth, louder, firmer. I had spent a lifetime being walked over. No more. Selling the house is for my own good. Putting me in a nursing home, leaving me with scraps, that's for my own good. Olivia's voice was sharp. The house is worth $300,000, she yelled. Oh, I nodded slowly. You plan to leave me with $100,000, I said, the one you calculated on that condo brochure where you figured out how much you'd pocket after selling my home. Silence. What brochure? Marcus asked. The one your wife wrote on, planning to take $220,000 from my house. It's not stealing, Olivia muttered. My share. Rage burned in my throat. My share of my own house. Do you hear yourself? Philip stepped forward. Look, Margaret, I know you're upset, but we can handle this without lawyers. Civilized. I don't want civilized, I snapped. I want justice. Don't be stubborn, Philip shouted. If this goes to trial, everyone loses. Not me. I picked up the documents, proof stacked in my hands, messages, invoices, witnesses, every bit of evidence. And there's more, I said. Marcus paled. Mom, no. Your son, I told Philip and Olivia, has been receiving illegal deposits from a shell company. Tax fraud. If the IRS discovers it, he could go to jail. Silence filled the room. That's a lie, Olivia whispered, trembling. Not a lie. Bank statements, accountant reports, I held them in my hands. And if we go to trial, all of it will come to light. Marcus sank onto the couch. I didn't know, Mom. A friend offered me the invoices. I just signed. I didn't know it was illegal. But you signed, you received the money, you spent it, while I struggled to pay bills, to survive. My voice was ice. Stop. Stop playing the victim, Olivia screamed. You're the one destroying the family. I didn't destroy anything. I shouted for the first time, my voice echoing through the house. You did. Label by label, humiliation by humiliation. Those labels weren't harmless. They were a message, I didn't matter here. That everything I built, every sacrifice I made, was worthless to you. The silence afterward was deafening. You have until Tuesday to leave, I said, firm. After that, the sheriff will remove you, and everything will go with you. Marcus knelt, tears streaming. Mom, please. I'm your son. Precisely because you are my son, I thought. Because I love you. I had to do this. I bent down, face level with his. I raised you, saved you from sickness, debt, mistakes, and all it taught you was that someone would always clean up after you. That's not true. You're 32. You don't work. You live off others. And you were planning to sell my house to continue living irresponsibly. That life? I allowed it. But it ends now. I stood. It's time for you to grow up. If losing you is the cost, I accept it. You're a monster, Olivia screamed. No. I looked at her calmly. I'm a mother who will not be used. Philip shouted, we'll hire a lawyer. We'll fight this. Perfect. I replied. My lawyer is ready. Every day you remain here after Tuesday, I will sue for damages, $200 a day, plus the $62,000 from the loan, plus $15,000 for moral damages. You have no heart, Karen whispered. I did. I said, voice steady. But you broke it. Now I have dignity. And you will not take it. I walked upstairs, shutting the door. On the bed, I finally let the tears come, not for sadness, but liberation. I was free. Monday, 12-hour hospital shift. I needed air, space from the storm. Brenda noticed. Margaret, you look exhausted. I soothed them. I'm kicking them out. She squeezed my hands. You did right. But that guilt, because he's still your son. That evening, the house was silent. I walked in. Boxes everywhere. Marcus and Olivia were packing. Olivia saw me. Happy? She said dryly. I wanted respect, I replied. She laughed bitterly. We're leaving. And I'm taking your son away. Oh, really? I crossed my arms. I value him, she said, unlike you who reminds him of debts and favors as if it were eternal. I never made him feel that, I said. Yes, you did. Every word, every sacrifice, you made him feel inadequate. That's why he drinks. That's why he avoids responsibility. Because if he grew up, he wouldn't need you. Was it my fault? I whispered. Yes and no. Olivia left, bumping my shoulder. I exhaled. Get out. Marcus came back alone. Mom, I need to talk. 5 minutes. I nodded. You're right. I've been a freeloader, cowardly. I yelled the worst things. I didn't mean it. I ruined everything. Ethan, no, I said, shaking my head. I did. That money, I knew it was wrong eventually. I kept doing it because it was easy, for Olivia. I wanted to look successful. Son. I'll pay it back. I'll leave your house, not because you're forcing me, but because it's right. And I'll stand on my own. 1 week, I said. Rules, no alcohol, find a job daily, pay something for rent, even $100, and therapy. He paused. Okay. I called David Hayes. Freeze the lawsuit, for 1 week. Eviction 2. Marcus looked at me, eyes wet. Why? Why still give me chances? Because that's what mothers do. Not because it's easy, or fair, but because love doesn't give up. But it also doesn't let itself be walked over. The next days were strange. Marcus kept his word, job applications, interviews, responsibility. Slowly, we began talking again, not about the past, but about now. Thursday, good news. Mom, I got a job at the hardware store. I felt genuine pride. Sunday, he handed me $300, $100 rent, $200 toward the debt. I owe you, Mom. I'll pay it back, even if it takes years. I held his gaze. And I'll help you learn to stand on your own. For the first time, I felt hope. Not that everything was fixed, but that maybe, just maybe, all was not lost. Marcus pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket. It's a payment plan. I worked with an accountant. I can pay you $300 a month. In 18 years, it'll be done. I studied the paper, each line carefully calculated, each date and payment accounted for. 18 years. Marcus, you're 32 now. You'll be 50 by the time this is finished. I know, he said, but it's my responsibility. I'm going to honor it. He hesitated, eyes brimming. Because you taught me that debts are paid, promises are kept. I broke too many before, but I won't break this one. Tears slipped down my cheeks. I hugged him. He hugged me back. The hug was different now. He wasn't a boy needing protection, he was a man showing love. And that changed everything. That afternoon, we packed his final belongings together. Folding clothes, he looked up. You know, Olivia texted me yesterday. Oh? What did she want? She asked if you dropped the lawsuit. I told her no. You were right, I had been a fool. He gave a bitter laugh. She called me a loser. Said I'd never amount to anything. Hoped I'd rot in my mom's house forever. I'm sorry you went through that. Don't be. She was right about one thing, I was a loser. But not anymore. And if losing her was what I needed to grow, then so be it. I sat on the bed. Do you miss her? Sometimes. But more than her, I miss the person I thought I was when I was with her. He closed his suitcase. I thought I was important, successful, but it was all a lie. Money that wasn't mine, a life that wasn't mine. Now I have a small room, a job that pays $600 every 2 weeks, and a $62,000 debt. He laughed, a little, bitter but honest. But it's mine. It's my life. For the first time in years, I felt real pride. Your father would be proud. He looked at me, eyes filling with tears. You really think so? I know so. Your father made mistakes, too, but he always got up again. That's what you're doing. Can I confess something? Of course. For years, I resented you. Not always, but sometimes, because you were perfect. Perfect nurse, perfect mother, always right. I was the son who needed help, the one who cost money. Son. And when I met Olivia, I felt enough. I didn't have to be perfect. I could just be. He paused. But the truth is, she didn't love me. She loved what I could give her. When I couldn't give any more, she left. Not all women are like that, I said. I could have walked away. I could have let you fall, but I didn't. I gave you one last chance. That's something no one else would do. He hugged me again. In that embrace was forgiveness, love, pain, and hope all in one. By 5 o'clock, Marcus had arranged a pickup, a friend's truck he hired for $20. Together, we loaded his belongings, a disassembled bed, boxes of clothes, a few small pieces of furniture. Neighbors peeked from windows. Is he really moving out? Mrs. Gable from next door asked. Yes, I said. He's standing on his own. Good. Every man should stand on his own. And visit often. She needs you. I will, Mrs. Gable. I promise. Marcus lingered in front of the house, looking as though he might be seeing it for the last time. I grew up here. First steps, nightmares, breakfasts for 20 years, this house is my story. I'll miss it. It will always be here, and so will you, I said. He nodded. But it's time. I need this. The truck pulled away. I stood on the sidewalk until it turned the corner and vanished. I cried, but not from sadness. From relief. Finally, I had let my son go, not because I didn't love him, but because love sometimes means letting go. 6 months later, the house was peaceful, no tension, no hostility. Marcus came every Sunday as promised. He shared stories of work, coworkers, and savings. Small, consistent payments had already covered $2,000 of his debt. Mom, I met someone, he said one Sunday. Her name is Megan. She works at the bakery nearby, studies business at night. Wants her own shop someday. I'd like to meet her, I said. Slowly, he said. I'm taking it slow. 3 months ago, Olivia tried to return. She showed up at the door, crying, claiming she'd made a mistake. Marcus's words still echo in my mind, I have nothing to forgive you for. You didn't choose me, you chose my house, my money, my comfort. And when that was gone, so were you. That Sunday, with pot roast on the table, Marcus arrived with Megan, warm eyes, shy smile. Mom, this is Megan. Pleasure to meet you. Only good things, she said sincerely. He told me how you saved him. I didn't save him, I said. He saved himself. No, Mom, Marcus said. You saved me by letting me fall. And in that truth, I woke fully. Laughter, conversation, warmth filled the room. Not perfect, but real. Love that hurts can heal. That night, the house felt like home again. No labels, no resentment, just dignity, respect, and peace. True wealth, I realized, isn't what you own. It's what you refuse to let others take, your dignity, your self-worth. And I would never give that up again.